What's up, friends? Welcome into another episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. So happy to have you all aboard for this episode. I'm your host, TB. Thank you very much for stopping in and checking out the 3Ts. We have so much to get to, so much in the world of the Buffalo Bills, so much in the world of the WWE. But I want to start with the card enthusiast. You guys usually don't get first crack at this lately, and I wanted to right that wrong today because you got a big week in front of you, because Bowman Chrome is releasing tomorrow. That's right, Tuesday, the 23rd. Bowman Chrome, one of the biggest releases of the year, is set to debut, and this looks to be a pretty good product. So what are we getting ourselves into? Right now, a hobby box is looking around $300 to $350, depending on the secondary markets. We shall see if any are available for slightly cheaper than that when the product actually goes live tomorrow on Topps and maybe Fanatics. But you're looking at right around $300, $350. You get 60 cards, 2 autographs per box. So what is this set? Now, historically, this set is made up of a mix between vets, rookies, and prospects. The prospects are the thing. You're going prospect hunting. That's what this product is about. So you have a 100-card base set. Those 100 cards are made up of rookies and veterans. Then you also have another 100 card, which is your Chrome prospects. Now, this is where those very special first Bowman cards are going to come into play. And a first Bowman Chrome prospect is the key. So these are what collectors come back to when the player starts to really turn it on. This is where the prospecting, you're basically prospecting for gold. That's what this is. This is a long-term play, long-term lotto ticket, and these are really cool. I really got into Bowman this year, and this is the Chrome variation of the whole thing. So I like this product. I wish it weren't so freaking expensive, but it's a really cool product. Now, on that initial 100 card base set list, you're looking at 16 parallels per base card. And that's a lot. And you also have a red rookie card refractor. So I talked about this a long time ago when Bowman first came out, but they're doing the same thing with the Chrome release. I think there's 40 different rookies who have a red RC label designated to their card. Now, what this is, it's very similar to the Topps buyback program that they ran with WWE, that they ran with the Topps Chrome Baseball. Should this player go on to win certain accolades, certain awards during their career, you can essentially allow Topps or your hobby shops to buy back this card for a certain amount of dollars. Or you can elect to keep the card, and the dollar amount goes up if this player then continues to reach new heights and new accomplishments during their career. It goes all the way to Hall of Fame status. So if you want to make a 20, 30-year investment on a card with an RC, a red RC label on it, you can make some bank, but the odds of that happening are pretty slim to none. But anyway, I do think it's cool. I like the whole buyback program. I wish they would do more things like this, because I think it would really engage your community more. And anytime you can give something back to the actual consumer, I think it can't be a bad idea. So like I said, 16 parallels plus this red RC refractor for the base set. And then when you go to the other set, the 100 Chrome prospect set, this is where things get crazy, because I counted, folks, there are 38 prospect parallels in this set. 38 parallels per Chrome prospect card. Holy crap. That's a lot. Now, I do like some of these. Some of the reptilian variations are really sweet. There's just a lot of cool cards, but if anyone's trying to put what they call chasing the rainbow, collect the whole set, if you have a certain player that you want to collect and you're trying to get every single variation of this player, it's next to impossible. I mean, it would take you forever, plus the amount of money you're going to spend is kind of ridiculous. But Topps, can we chill? Because this is becoming a thing. Like, they are going crazy with the parallels and the variations, and I get it. I like it. I mean, 20 years ago, there weren't hardly any of this stuff, but now it's insane. It's absolutely insane. You know, it's frustrating when the actual hobby box is only 60 cards. It's crazy. But anyway, as far as the inserts go, a lot of cool inserts. They added a couple new ones this year. They have ones called Meteoric Rise. They have one called a Max Volume. I really like the way the Meteoric Rise card looks. That looks pretty fire. And then some of the old standbys are back. One of my all-time favorite looking cards is called Etched in Glass Insert. Now, these are very rare, very limited, but it looks like the player is part of a stained glass window, almost like you would see in the old churches. I love the look of these cards. I think they look fire. If you can get a good one and gem it up, throw it in a, go send that off to get graded, and that comes back at 10, you're looking at a pretty good long-term investment. Plus, I'm a big SGC guy. I love the way the tuxedo look comes back once it's graded. You slap a 10 SGC on that. I know they got bought out by PSA. That's a whole nother story, but I love the way that looks. So you put an etched in glass card in an SGC encasement. I think that would look absolute fire. But what am I absolutely looking forward to the most out of this product? You guessed it, Bowman GPK. I can't wait for this. They are teaming up with Garbage Pail Kids yet again, and they have a 50-card GPK set list in this series. And frankly, it's awesome. And here's the thing. I've heard videos of people reviewing and previewing this product. You get these old, salty guys who've been in the hobby for years, and they're sitting around talking and complaining about GPK being in this product. Oh, I don't like it. It's stupid and blah, blah. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for you, but I think these are awesome. These are some of my favorite cards to collect because it combines two of my favorite things, baseball and GPK, and it's fun. So take a breath, come down off your freaking high horse and relax a little bit. You don't have to like these, but I think they're freaking cool. I mean, you get some really, really cool looking stuff in here. So if you haven't had a chance, go pull up some pictures of some GPK, Bowman Chrome cards. I mean, you got Hall of Famers in here. Derek Jeter has a card in here. Paul Skeens has a card. Plus, you get some of the new up-and-comers. But Ichiro has a card. Albert Pujols. You got Vlad Jr. I love the Dylan Cruz one. That one's cool as hell. James Wood. Those two, if I can get Cruz and James Wood on the GPK variations, I would be set. I would want to see how much those two cards alone are going to cost me. And we shall see what happens. But yeah, I love it. What's not to love? And then one other insert I saw. This is really cool. Extremely, extremely rare, but I think this is going to be an awesome grab. Bowman is throwing in what they are calling a variety pack into extremely limited number of hobby boxes. This is a pack that contains 4 cards. They are all Chrome Prospect cards. They are all, according to what I found, they're all numbered to 5. And you get 4 variations. You get a Gumball Prospect, a Sunflower Seed Prospect, a Peanuts Prospect, and a Popcorn Prospect. And like I said, these are all first Bowmans, and they're all numbered to 5. So if you grab this, I'm assuming, based on these numbers, they've only put 5 of these insert packs into hobby boxes. So if you can grab one of these, you are making bank, let me tell you. I haven't seen any pictures of what these look like, but I can't wait to check them out. I think it's going to be super cool. I'm super excited for Bowman Chrome. I know the hobby boxes are going to be pretty pricey, but if you're not feeling like taking a leap into a hobby box, around a $300 investment, they also have a mega box variation. Now, these run around $50. Historically, these haven't been the greatest, but you do get some different variations. These are holding 35 total cards. It's possible to pull an autograph out of megas, but it's extremely rare. And who knows what's going to happen. But I do like the product. I think it's pretty cool. I can't wait to see some of the breaks that are happening tomorrow. And maybe I'll get my hands on some of these, but we shall see. If y'all can check out those GPK cards, though, that's where it's at. But what else is coming out this week? We have another big release. It is Disney Chrome. That's right, folks. Disney Chrome is about to hit the streets, if you will. If I'm a betting man, I think this is going to be a huge product, and it's going to do really well. There's all kinds of variations, but Disney Chrome, it is going to feature Disney and Pixar characters on a 200-card base set, and this is going to include not only your animated, your cartoon characters, but also live action cards for the first time. And this comes out on the 24th. There's going to be a ton of inserts. I mean, a ton of inserts. And for the first time, there's also going to be actual autograph cards from the actors that portray the characters, whether they're the real life action movies or the voiceovers. This is going to be cool. There's going to be hobby boxes, mega boxes, value blaster boxes. Hopefully, look, This hobby is supposed to be for the kids. I know I am 46, so I'm not going to be ripping these boxes out of little kids' hands. I just hope these kids can actually get some of this product. We shall see how this goes, but I did look through the checklist of it. Once again, there are a ton of parallels, a ton of refractors. It's going to be very hard, once again, to put together that rainbow, if you will. There's a ton of base image variations. It's just crazy. Then you get to the inserts. You're talking icons, future stars, iconic moments. You have a Pocahontas 30th anniversary insert. You have a Pluto 95th anniversary insert. You have all kinds of stuff. And then they have inserts that are specific to each format that you can get into. So hobby exclusives, value exclusives, etc., megabox exclusives. But what I really wanted to look at was the autos and see, okay, well, what can we actually pull? And you can get some cool stuff. I got to be honest with you. You can pull a authentic Billy Crystal, who of course played the voice of Mike Wazowski. You can get Chris Evans. You can get John Goodman, aka Sully. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And then some of the real action movies, so like Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann from Pirates of the Caribbean, Orlando Bloom, Samuel L. Jackson from what was that? Incredibles, I think, the Frozone character. Tim Allen signs in this product, Buzz Lightyear. So I mean, it's pretty cool, guys. I gotta say, it's pretty cool. I'm super excited. I hope this doesn't go crazy. I really hope this is affordable and people can actually get their hands on it. But just like every other product, I have my doubts. Right now, these products are listing for roughly $60 to $70 for a quote-unquote value box. I mean, yikes. And on the secondary market for a hobby, prices are already up to $700. So this is exactly what I'm afraid of. We shall see if any more actually become available direct through Topps on, Wednesday. I hope people can actually get this, and it's not just one breaker after another and bots. Just, I mean, it's yet again another product that looks really awesome and nobody can buy it because it's completely priced out of proportion, and the actual consumer, Joe Schmo, the guy who's trying to buy a box for his kids or whatever, has zero chance. So super frustrating, but all in all, two awesome products that are being released this week. I just wanted to start with that and let you all know to be on the lookout for it. But we got to dive right into the world of the Buffalo Bills and review game number 3 against the Miami Dolphins, because let me tell you, folks, it was way freaking closer than I had ever thought. So, Bills Mafia, I know how I'm feeling. How are you feeling after that game? It was a little stressful. I told you after the Jets game that I had turned the stress meter off after about 12 minutes in the game. Well, the stress meter for this one stayed on until almost the very last 5 minutes of the game. It was way closer than I thought, and I should have expected this. Because a lot was on the line here, right? You had the Dolphins coming into town, coming into Orchard Park at 0-2. They were not playing well. You had all the rumors of Mike McDaniel being on the hot seat for losing his job. So the local papers down in Miami, down in South Florida, were not too fond of the start of the Dolphins season, and there was a lot of pressure on them. So I should have expected them to really man up. And to their credit, I will give them credit. They played really well. A couple things. As I was going through the weekend and really thinking about this game, I wondered, how would Josh Allen do if he had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as his receivers? If he was on the other side of the field, let's say we clone Josh Allen, right? And Josh Allen is playing on both sides of the ball. So you put Josh Allen on that Dolphins offense, how many points would they have scored? I was actually starting to think about this scenario, because I think Tua is terrible. Now, they did really great on third down. It was unbelievable. Our third down defense was absolutely atrocious. But the fact that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were getting open regularly, they were torching Trey White, Christian Benford. It was bad. But half the time I felt like Tua wasn't making the right read. He wasn't playing well at all. He didn't finish with that many yards passing. And I'm thinking, if Josh Allen was on the Dolphins, would we have lost this game? I think we might have, because the defense was just was just bad. So anyway, let's kind of dive into this game. The opening kickoff. I like to take notes as I go through these games and then kind of work my way back through it. But the opening kickoff, special teams, y'all were not good for this game. Not good. Bad special teams coverage right off the jump, right off the opening kickoff. Miami gets the ball. What were they at the 40, 45-yard line? They march right down the field, and it's a tutty. And they just carved us up. So immediately it's 7-0. 7-0. And then we finally get the ball. There was a pass interference with Keon. That helped us out. That was a sick throw by Josh and initiated contact there. And then our offensive line took over. And the O-line, the lanes that they were creating for James Cook were sick. You add 2 Dalton Kincaid catches, and then next thing you know, it's tied up. We fought back immediately, tie the game. Then we get the tutty to Jackson Hawes where Josh rolls out. It seems like the play is breaking down, and he does the underhand flick thing that has become so prevalent to his repertoire. He flicks it to Jackson Hawes. Everybody goes absolutely insane. If you had taken an anytime tutty bet for Jackson Hawes, even if you dropped like $1 or $2 on that, you would have made bank, because that's the one moving forward. I said this to my daughter, just play $1 on that line every single game, the Jackson Hawes anytime tutty, and you're gonna come out ahead at the end of the year. So a couple other things. Special teams, like all night, I thought they were terrible. There was a 10-point swing in which when Prater misses the field goal and then the Dolphins go right down the field and get the tutty there, that's a 10-point swing. That was the turning point in the game to me, because if we had made that field goal, what was it, 37 yards? Something completely manageable. And he shanked this one so crazy. I'm like, oh boy, I had just gotten done in the preview podcast talking about how we might have a kicker controversy. And then what does he do? He literally goes and sends it to the next town over. I'm like, oh my God, that was brutal. So you want to talk kicking controversy? I'm not sure we're going to have one if he keeps shankopotamusing it all over the field. And his kickoffs, I told you, I read that article about how they talked about how awesome his kickoffs were, and it was great. His kickoffs were terrible. The special teams in this game were all over the place. Not good at all. A lot of things we could talk about. I felt like there was a stretch of this game where the offense just went into cruise control. They came out, they dominated for the first couple series, just like always, and then they drop it down into like first or second gear and they just coast and they don't try until they absolutely have to. And this time, I mean, yes, we came out with the dub, which it's hard to not want to celebrate, but you see these things, and this game should have been over in the third quarter. Like I said, that 10-point swing, we keep our pedal on the gas, our foot on the pedal rather, and just go for 40. It's so frustrating to see that we're not operating on all cylinders. We're still making very conservative play calls. Joe Brady, I'm still not sure what you're doing. Maybe it was the short week. Maybe there was a lot going on. I knew we had some defensive issues with people being out with Milano and Oliver. But I'm just like, can we not put these teams away? There's no reason for the Dolphins to be in this game. Had we made that field goal, I think the game would have gone drastically different. I think we go on, we win by like 17, 20 points. And this is to say that it sounds like I'm complaining when we still win by, 10? But this game did not have to be this close. And Josh Palmer, there's another one. Josh Palmer gets his one and only catch with 4 minutes left in the game. I felt like they didn't take any shots downfield. Now, having heard some analysis from Bills podcasters and reviewing the game tape, they were saying that the Dolphins were playing like a too high shell and really stressing and forcing Josh to keep everything underneath. So there were times he was looking to go deep, but he couldn't. So he just had to keep checking it down, which kind of sucks because 3-4 years ago, we'd see him air it out. And I know that would lead to turnovers. And I know how much Coach McClappy is adamant about limiting turnovers, and it's great. It's just, okay, but let's just try it maybe once in a while. Take a shot. Like, throw it 60 yards. If it gets picked, it gets picked. Who cares? But we're so concerned with him throwing picks and whatnot. It's just, I feel like we don't take any shots. They had that awesome throw to Keon right away that drew the PI, and then a couple other, it was mostly yards after catch. There were no no passes further than 10 yards. I think I read a stat that Allen and Tua combined had like the lowest air yardage per pass attempt in NFL history. And it showed. It was a boring game. Most of the passes were right near the line of scrimmage, and had Shakir not broken that one out for a tutty, I don't know what we would be talking about, but we get the win. Now we get an extra few days to rest and to recuperate. Hopefully Milano and Oliver are back. Not that we're going to need them for the Saints. I think the Saints is a absolute dumpster fire, but we'll dive into that later on in the week. James Cook. Can we talk about James Cook for a minute? Because we all sat here, and I sat here on numerous podcasts breaking down how are we going to pay him and what's he worth, and we went back and forth on that, and the crowdsource tag and all kinds of interesting ways that we could shell out the money. Oh my God, James Cook is awesome. He's awesome. I love the patience he runs with, and then for him to contort himself through some of these offensive line holes, and just the next thing you know, it's 10, 15, 20 yards, and you actually see him gaining steam. Had it not be for a defender getting a hand on a foot or a knee or slightly, trying to wrap him up, he'd be gone. He could have broken 2, 3, 4, 40 to 50 yard runs for tutties in this game. And maybe that's what Joe Brady is hoping for, that these runs are going to break free and that our offense is going to be nothing but James Cook. Because so far, that's literally what it's been outside of the fourth quarter of the opener against Baltimore. It's been the James Cook show. And we all got upset because he got a new deal. And is anyone out there going to tell me that he's not worth what we're paying him? In fact, you could argue that he's underpaid. And you put him and his money against what these other top guys are getting. I'm not saying he's Derrick Henry or Saquon, but how much further down the list do we want to go before we get to James Cook and the value he brings to the Buffalo Bills? You pair him with this offensive line, and this is exactly what I talked about before. You can't just put Ray Davis, Ty Johnson behind them. Where is Ray Davis? Is he even on the field? His snap count is next to nothing. He's not touching the ball. Ty Johnson only comes in to give Cook a breather, but I think Cook is on the field for 60% of the plays, the offensive plays, which is crazy because last year I think that percentage was right around 45 to 48%. So you can see an uptick in his offensive productivity, and he is producing. So anyone out there that wants to say this James Cook signing was not good is crazy. You are not watching. And he could have easily had 2 other touchdowns in that game on Thursday night. Awesome. He's so fun to watch. I would just hope that the aerial attack, the passing attack can coincide with how good James Cook is. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we could have a top 3 offense in the league. We put up 30 points against the Dolphins, and it seemed like a struggle, right? It seemed like a struggle, and the offense took a quarter and a half off of not doing anything, and we left points on the board. So it's hard to get upset, but you realize that the potential is there for this team to just absolutely dog walk their opponents. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see these games be close. I want to relax and go into chill mode in the third and fourth quarters. I don't want these games against these inferior teams to be close at all. But like I said, tip of my cap to the Dolphins. They played really hard. Defensively, though, we have significant problems. The defensive line in this game was so bad. I know Bosa came close to getting some sacks on Tua, but close is not going to cut it. And the rest of the line, where is Russo? Does anyone know? Is he on this team? Because I haven't heard his name called. I haven't seen him do anything. The rest of the interior on this line just got gashed. They got moved off the line, off the ball so easily. They got manhandled. It was embarrassing. And so immediately you're putting your linebackers in terrible positions. And if your line can't hold, then your cornerbacks have no shot. And this is exactly what happened. I felt like Hill and Waddle were able to get anywhere they wanted on the field. They were throwing everything underneath super quick. Tua was not affected at all. He had a couple times where he was able to get out of the pocket, which is rare for him, and he made the plays. So normally this is not his game, but he was able to make those plays. He was able to get the ball to his playmakers, and the third down defense was terrible. Offensively, the Dolphins were not good on first and second down, but third down, they were like the best team in the league, which was absolutely insane to me. We could not get off the field. I don't want to keep belaboring it. We still won the game, but there's a lot to clean up. There's a lot to fix. Like I said at the beginning when we kind of looked at the whole season, is this hold on for 6 weeks and then your defense will be totally revamped? I really am starting to believe that that's the case. When we get Michael Hoyt back and Larry Ogunjobi, and we get, I'm not saying Maxwell Harrison is the answer because he's still a rookie and there's a lot to learn, but we have no speed in the secondary, zero. And that's exactly what we drafted him for. I want to at least see what it looks like, because to me, the answers on defense right now are not there. And it's super frustrating. But anyway, like I said, we get the big dub. Super excited. We shall see what happens against the Saints. I don't expect them to put up that much of a fight, but I don't want to underestimate them either. I will dive into what they have done on the season, which has been nothing, and we will review that game as we go through the week. But now it's time to turn our attention to the squared circle. WWE Wrestling Marks, how are we feeling after the very first PLE on the new ESPN app? It was Wrestlepalooza coming at you live from Indianapolis. It was Saturday night at 7 p.m. Did you all get a chance to be thoroughly entertained by this product? I'm really interested to see what people are saying coming out of Wrestlepalooza, because it was something. It was something. So first of all, let's talk about the app. I signed up. Yeah, it was $30, right? Because so far only very certain cable providers are linking with the ESPN app. And I know that they are still working on this. Allegedly, I'm an Xfinity customer. So allegedly, ESPN is supposed to be partnering with these companies down the line, and you're supposed to be able to use and sign in through your cable provider and have access. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. I know a lot of people were absolutely furious that they could not get this app through their cable provider. It ended up costing me $30. So it was a bundle package. You get Disney Plus, you get Hulu Plus, you get ESPN Unlimited or whatever the hell it's called. And it cost me $30 a month. And this price was locked in for 12 months. So it was super easy to sign up. And I'm thinking, should I be mad about this? Because I'm seeing how upset people were. Well, it's like this. We were already having to pay for Peacock, which was what? 16, 17, $20 a month. And then I look historically at where we've come in the history of pay-per-views. I remember when I was in college, so late 90s, 97, 98, 99-ish, we would all get together, go to somebody's house and all shell in $5 or so, join our funds together, get some food and order the pay-per-view. And back then it was $30 a month. So back then, when that was 30 years ago, we're paying $30 a month. And then it progressively got more and more. Then it went to 35, then it went to 40, then it went to 50. And I think at some point your WrestleManias were $60 a month. So I lived through the history of paying for these shows. It's why it's called pay-per-view, right? And now I feel like, as fans, we feel like this sense of entitlement. We want everything for free. Well, nothing's free. Nothing's free. And I get it. I'm not happy about it either, but I'm trying to be objective about this. And so, okay, well, it's $30 a month. But what am I actually getting? Let's look at the product. So yes, I signed up. It was a seamless, easy sign up. No problem at all. The show starts. There's no lagging. There's no nothing. It was super simple. Literally point and click, right? So far, so good. The show starts, and I loved the intro video they play at the start because it shows kind of the history of ESPN with the WWE, the WWF. It shows a lot of classic clips. It was brilliant. It was very well done. I loved it. The set, first of all, here we go again. Fresh off of Clash in Paris, I thought that set was one of the best I'd seen in some time. And then this is immediately back to, we got some Titantrons up in there and really nothing going on. So thumbs down for the set. That was whack. What are we doing? This is supposed to be a palooza, right? And there's the other thing. This is called a Wrestlepalooza, and there's only 5 matches on the card. A palooza insinuates, we got a multi-day festival, and we're going to do this all day, all night, and people are going to be partying in the streets. Well, no. This is a 5-match card that lasted, 3 hours? So started at 7. We were done by 10:15, if that. I can't remember exactly when, but so far, not so good. But And then the actual show starts. So the first match, right out Jump Street, we get Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Brock Lesnar comes out, and my wife was in the kitchen. She was getting something. I think she started to make some food or something. And Brock Lesnar comes out, and I go, holy crap! This guy is insane looking. I can't remember him, and maybe it's just it's been a while. But I'm looking at this guy like, if you see this dude in a dark alley, you better run like hell. This guy was, I've never seen him this big. It was just ridiculous. So then Cena comes down. I love his intro where it's black and white. It just says John Cena, and then it kicks in the color. I love that. That's so awesome. It sucks that we only got a few more dates with him, but he comes through the curtain. He's got like 30 kids all dressed just like him. It's super awesome. They all have the towels. They're all doing the can't see me thing. It's great. It was great. And then he runs to the ring, and then the actual match starts. And holy cow, I had just said to my wife about the SummerSlam match, what was it, 10, 12 years ago, about the beatdown that Lesnar put on Cena during that SummerSlam match. I told her I had never seen anything like it before. Well, buckle up, folks, because that's exactly what happened on Saturday. It was part 2 of the SummerSlam beatdown. He absolutely beat the piss out of John Cena. I think John Cena got in, 2-3 moves in the entire match. He got in 2 AAs, goes for a third, and then Lesnar reversed it, and it was F5 City, and he just beat the absolute crap out of him. 1, 2, 3, match is over. Then he takes out the ref. Then he takes out Cena again. And then he leaves. And then Cena's just like, holy hell. Thanks, Indianapolis, for coming. I left it all in the ring. My blood, sweat, and tears. I got my ass kicked. And then he goes back through the curtain. And the craziest thing is the camera is zooming to all the children in the audience. And they are literally in tears, having just seen their superhero get massacred by this insane creature that is Brock Lesnar. And I'm just like, this is absolutely insane. I didn't think he actually had a chance to win this match, but honestly, I had no idea that this was going to turn into a beatdown. No clue that this was going to turn into a beatdown. And that's exactly what happened. People were enraged by the outcome of this match. And so I'm trying to think about it. What is the purpose of this? Is this going to be the story that plays out for the duration? Because he only has, 2.5 months to go? Are we just going to see Cena versus Lesnar for the rest of this, where he faces him again at Survivor Series or something? I don't know. It's definitely going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth if this is the match that they remember during this retirement tour. I'm not saying he should win every match. Obviously, he lost the belt back to Cody and whatever. That was annoying. But to just get massacred like this, it was definitely not expected. If you weren't on the edge of your seat after that match, I don't know what to tell you, because that was eye-opening. And so then we move on. Match 2, we had the Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus the Braun and Braun legal team. LA Knight was made special guest referee. So with everything going on your Monday Night Raws leading into this and your Smack, I can't keep up with who's on what show anymore. So I know they have drugged this story out between the 5 of them for the longest time. So you knew there was going to be some shenanigans, but LA Knight's special guest referee, I got to tell you, early in this match, he hits the 1, 2, 3, and he needs to work on slapping the mat like a referee, because if you replay that, there's a pinfall early in this match when he actually hits the 3 count. And so then he just stands up and he's like, no, he does the inches thing with his index finger and his thumb. And I'm like, nope, that's not correct. You actually hit the third slap on the mat. So LA Knight, you got to get your ref skills in order. But he eventually lets them set up tables and do the chair shots. And of course, the Slim Jim table is there, and we see all kinds of shenanigans. And just as expected, the Braun team, the legal team of Bronson and Bronson, end up winning. And somehow, right at the end of this match, Jay cracks his head wide open and he's bleeding all over the place. Immediately following the match, the medical team, the medical staff is there, and they're wrapping his head in a towel. And it's like, okay, I don't know. And he had to get helped out. It didn't look that bad. And I'm like, why does he need all this help? If this was AEW, like, they would be doing another swanton off a 30-foot ladder immediately following this. But I digress. Anyway, that match was fine. It was fine. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I didn't want to see the Usos win. I was hoping we would get the Gunther return and have him choke out LA Knight and, take that story that I came up with last night on the You Got the Book segment of the week, but that didn't happen. Clearly, Triple H does not listen to the podcast. But anyway, another thought that I had as we worked through this, there were no promo packages for the first few matches. No promo packages. Here's ESPN that takes over the PLE programming. You're going to draw in all these new viewers, but you're not showing promo packages prior to the matches. These are almost more important than the match itself, because to a casual observer who's not watching Mondays and Fridays and checking results and all kinds of stuff, you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea why these people are fighting each other. So you have to put together a promo package to give people the backstory. That's what the purpose is of the promo package. And I'm like, most people aren't going to sit for a 2-hour preview show to get up to speed before a 3-hour wrestling show. So you got to throw a 2-minute promo package together. And there were not any until we got later in the show. But anyway, third match of the night, this was my absolute favorite. And it's disappointing because I heard people, or I read reports of people in the audience saying this match was awful. And I'm like, are you not even paying attention? This was the greatest match on the card. Now, I really like the mixed tag match, so we'll get to that in a minute. But as far as pure wrestling, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the vacated women's title, the vacated women's championship, this match was awesome. Awesome. You have two of the best wrestlers on the planet, women or not, going at it. This was awesome. So anyone saying this match was awful, what the hell are you watching? And please don't watch wrestling anymore if you think this match is awful, because it was great. This match is great. This was the highlighted wrestling match of the night. So no, you didn't get a beatdown like you did in the Cena fiasco that opened the show, and you didn't get stupid Slim Jim table spots. You actually got a wrestling match, and with two of the best wrestlers on the planet, and they put on a great show. I actually jumped off the couch when Stephanie Vaquer hit her finisher, which I don't even know what you call it, but it was like a 720 corkscrew moonsault from the top row, from the top turnbuckle onto Io Sky laying in the on the mat, and she hits the 1, 2, 3, and I jumped off the couch. I was like, I can't believe they did it. I can't believe it. I had said this was my prediction of the week. I thought it was for sure to go to Io Sky, just because Stephanie Vaquer has only been on the roster, 4 months? So insane that they decided to strap the rocket to her back, which is exactly what they did. And now she is a women's champion. Well-deserved. But to both the ladies, you all destroyed it. This match was probably my favorite of the night. Match number 4. This match was a lot of fun. I heard a lot of people complaining that and I'm just like, why do you all watch wrestling if all you do for 3 hours is complain about everything? Have fun, suspend disbelief, remove yourself from the world for a couple hours and just enjoy it. Do you sit there through a movie and complain every second of the day when a plot twists or somebody says a line or jumps off a building that you don't like? Do you sit there and complain through the whole movie? Like, how miserable are we as a society that we just want to tear every single thing apart? Wrestling is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. So if you're not having fun, turn the freaking TV off, don't buy the app, and go do something else. Go take a walk, take some breath, breathe a little, go run your hands through some grass and start to appreciate life, because these people are miserable. Wrestling fans, I love you, but at the same time, you are all miserable human beings, and all you want to do is complain about everything. Just take a breath and try to relax a little. This match was great. You had Becky and Seth, the power couple, versus a returning AJ Lee and CM Punk. This match was so much fun. So much fun. I absolutely loved the interaction between Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. They are quickly becoming my two favorite to watch. They've always been my favorite individually. I love watching them come up through their careers. In one of these episodes, I hope to do a Becky Lynch breakdown of her transition from the Irish lass kicker to the man to her current Intercontinental run. I just think her career is unbelievable. I love watching them work. And this match was great. The way they constantly worked off each other to distract the ref and to cause interference, and the games they were playing with AJ and CM Punk was awesome. Now, if I have one critique, AJ looked a little rusty, but that's because she hasn't wrestled in 10 years. But once this match got going and the last 5 minutes of this, it was just great. The table spot at the end, not the table spot, the announce table spot at the end where all three of them go through it, that looked rough. And she took a spill. That took a bump. I hope everybody's okay with that, but this is great. So anyone crapping on this and not actually enjoying it for what it is, I don't know what y'all are watching wrestling for, because this was such a good match. Hats off to all four of you. Can't wait to see what happens next. I'm loving everything these four are doing. I am all freaking in. The last match, the main event, your champion, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. Yeah, this match wasn't for me. I got to tell you, it wasn't for me. It was just fine. It was a fine, standard match. Whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I like Cody when he comes out of the curtain. I love his song. And then the match starts and it's just not for me. And that's okay. I recognize that. There's things that aren't going to be for everyone. I just got done saying, you might not like the last match. But hey, whatever. This match, I really wanted to see them shake this up. I really wanted to see Drew get the title, because here's the thing. Drew is constantly in the title picture and he never wins. So eventually, people are not going to take him seriously. He is a badass. You have to at least have the badass win once in a while. That means you give them the belt. You let them do stuff as the champion. You let them be this badass heel as the champion. If they lose every single time they are given an opportunity, no one will take them seriously anymore, and he will just turn into a jobber. So you're trying to portray him as this unstoppable badass heel, and you never let him win. Eventually the stick wears off and no one cares that he's even there, and no one wants to see his matches. I think he's a great wrestler. From where he's come to now, it's unbelievable. The way he's transformed himself physically, his game on the mic is out of this world. So I really like what he's doing. But again, he has to be a viable threat, and every once in a while you have to make the change just to keep everyone honest. And I think it's becoming stale with the Cody thing. It's almost like Cena was 10 years ago with the Super Cena. Well, Cody Rhodes doesn't lose despite Claymore after Claymore and, all these other moves. And so the finish to this match, I wasn't a fan of. He literally does a Claymore through the bottom of the announce table, and now suddenly his leg's broken. I'm like, it's a piece of plexiglass. What is the problem? And then Cody does his super Cody cutter off the top rope, and that's it. And I'm like, oh God, that match wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at all. But I understand why they did it, because if I'm ESPN and this is my brand new debut show, brand new first out of the box PLE, am I going to have one of my famous, most recognizable superstars on the planet lose? Probably not. So if I were to guess, I would say the powers that be at ESPN had a nice strong talk with Triple H, and everyone agreed that was going to be the end to the PLE. All in all, I asked my wife, I go, okay, you got to rate this thing out of 4 turnbuckles. What are you giving it? You can use decimal places. And she said, I give it a 2.75 turnbuckles. And I thought she was being generous, because I went with 2.5. 2.5 out of 4 turnbuckles. So there you have it, folks. That is my review of Wrestlepalooza. And we shall see where they go moving forward. I am extremely interested in Monday Night Raw. Too bad it coincides with an awesome football game. So maybe we'll have to have dual screens going for that. But that will wrap it up for this episode of the 3Ts podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode or any other episode prior to this one, do me a favor, share it with someone you know, whether they like the Bills, whether they like the hobby of card collecting, or whether they love the sport that is professional wrestling. It doesn't matter. I want to grow this thing one episode at a time. So please hit that follow, hit that like, leave me a quick review, and help me build this thing together. I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.